Chula Vista School District VAPA.
Hi CVESD students, my name is Ms. Jerez, for those of you who don't already know me, and I teach theater arts. Now you might be asking yourself, why doesn't she just call it acting class? That is one of my favorite questions. As a matter of fact, today's lesson, From Script to Screen, holds the answer. Let's see if by the end of the video, you can answer that question for yourself. Let's take a look at the title, From Script to Screen. You may notice that the title implies that there's a process in theater arts. You may also notice that it says script to screen and not script to stage. There's a twofold reason for that. First, we are experiencing distance learning, and that requires a screen. Secondly, as this lesson unfolds, I think you're going to start to see similarities between the two processes. For example, here in my playbill from Hamilton, when you look at the credits page, you see the writer right up at the top. In this case, we have book, music, and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Book meaning script in theater. Though the credits are formatted differently in film, you still see the writer pretty close to the top. Creating the visual image you see on stage is the job of scenic design. In film, the job of creating the visual image is called director of photography, or cinematography. In theater, everything that you hear falls under the job description of sound design. Sound for film is more complex. Sometimes in film credits, the jobs are specifically called out, like in these credits, where the sound mixers and the boom operators are listed. Actors in theater, actors in film. A whole lot more creative opportunities, or as I like to call them, paid jobs and employees in theater. Anyone who's ever been to the movies knows that the credits can run for a very long time. As a matter of fact, there are so many paid jobs in film now that the credits for Avengers Endgame lasted for nearly 12 minutes. That's a lot of jobs, people. Listen to this. The arts also have a robust economic grounding in California. With over $400 billion in economic output, the impacts of the creative economy are substantial. That's a quote from the California Arts Standards Introduction. But these credits that you're watching right now are not from Avengers Endgame. No, these are pretty old. But even back then, there were lots of jobs. Well, would you look at that? That's me! When I was in college, I was a theater arts major and a film production minor, and after I graduated, I worked in both, and so can you. The trick is really to mess around with the different artistic skills until you find things that you really like, which is why we're doing our project today. We're going to focus on 4 fundamental areas that we've already seen exist in both film and theater. That's going to be script writing, acting, visual effects, and audio. And in order for us not to get overwhelmed, we're going to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Here's the plan. The Japanese art of haiku focuses on one moment in a story, and what better place to start script writing than with just one moment in the story? And also by using the platform of poetry, you don't have to worry about all those writing conventions like capitalization and punctuation and sentence structure. Those are all optional when you're writing poetry. We're going to be working with some basic haiku traits. 3 lines, a total of 17 syllables, 5 in the first line, 7 in the second line, and 5 in the third line. Nature theme, and a moment in a story. If you would like to add other elements of poetry, like rhyme, you certainly may, but it is not required. The creative process begins when you take the artistic traits of haiku and connect them to the world around you. For inspiration, we look to nature, either in the present moment, a memory, or our imagination. Once you're there, or here, you use your senses to get the moment down into that 3-line format on your paper. Don't start counting syllables, not until the editing process. You'll miss the moment. So here we are. This is a moment. I need to choose a sense and ask myself a question. So, how does it sound? Well, I hear the birds singing their song, and I hear the breeze rustling the leaves. That's my first line. Bird song on the breeze. Then I ask myself, how does it smell? Oh, it smells sweet, like there are flowers all around. I think I'll use the word sweet to describe the breeze in the first line. Then I ask myself, how does it look? Well, I see the breeze gently moving the leaves as the sunlight comes through them, and they're so green and springy. Oh, that's a lot of words. I'm going to work with that. Then I ask myself, how does it feel? I can talk about how it feels physically, the warm sun or the cool breeze, or I could talk about how it feels emotionally. Like, to me, this feels like a secret garden that the outside world doesn't know about, can't touch it. Oh, I like that. Third line, untouched by disease. Untouched by disease. Now all I have to do is get all of that into 17 syllables. To edit, we go back to the basic traits and apply them to our script. 3 lines? Check. 5, 7, 5 syllables? Not yet. In line 1, I see 2 syllables wasted on low-intensity words, the words on and the. Let's get rid of those. Now we're short 1 syllable. Think of 1 syllable that will paint a brighter picture in the audience's mind. Bird song, sweet breeze. Bird song, sweetened breeze. That's 5. Check. Second line. Caresses sunlit green spring leaves. 1 too many. Well, everybody knows that spring leaves are green. Let's get rid of green. Now we have 7, but the word lit is harsh, and I don't love it. It doesn't capture the moment that I was experiencing. What can I add to sun that would actually reflect the moment? Sun-kissed spring leaves. Yes, that is 7 vivid syllables. Line 3 is already 5 syllables. Nice. Next is nature theme. We have nature theme all over the place. Check. A moment in a story? Yes. Check. Fabulous. Our script is done. Moving on to visual. Decide what image you want your audience to see that will support the story being told in your script. Consider everything that can be seen in the frame, which is another way to say on the screen. Consider the camera angle, the lighting, and possibly the movement within the frame. You may record on Flipgrid in 2 ways. You may illustrate and record your illustration on Flipgrid while adding sound. You may record your video on Flipgrid by clicking the green plus and using the stickers and drawings options while adding sound. If you want to create your own video on a different device, you may import your own video to Flipgrid. Just click the black button with the 3 white dots next to the record button, or follow the steps in Flipgrid Help Center. Now you need to decide what you want your audience to hear that supports the story being told in your script. Obviously, the most important sound would be the voice of the actor telling the story itself. For best results, keep the mic within a couple of feet of the actor. You may also choose to add music or sound effects in the background. Just make sure that their volume doesn't overpower the story. As an actor, you know you only have 17 syllables and a few seconds to convey meaning and emotion to your audience. This is how you can prepare for that. First, warm up your body by doing jumping jacks or something that will cause you to breathe deeply. Then shake it all out. Second, warm up your vocal instrument by saying tongue twisters like, "The big black bug bit the big black bear." Don't worry about how fast you say it, just make sure each sound and every word is clear. Also drink water to keep your mouth and throat moist. Then rehearse out loud. So find a place where you're comfortable doing that. And you might want to let your family know what you're doing so they don't think you've lost it. Last, but definitely not least, go to your emotional memory of the moment in your script. When you are back in the experience of that moment, That's when you hit record. Birdsong sweetened breeze caresses sun-kissed spring leaves, untouched by disease. Let my video be an example for you, but don't let it limit you. I am constantly amazed by my students' creativity. It's like Dumbledore says, age is both foolish and forgetful when it underestimates youth. So, enjoy the process of going from script to screen, and I will see you in Flipgrid. Oh, by the way, can you answer the question now as to why Ms. Jerez doesn't call this class just acting class?